Hi, welcome to the Coffee Chat Show here on Pattaya. The show we talk about things happening right here, right now, as well as general news, tips, information, advice. You may recognise this gentleman that's joining me now. Here I'm with Jack from Macallan Insurance. How you doing, man?
Doing fine, Trevor.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
Been a while.
You haven't changed. I look older. You just look the same.
You say that to all the boys.
I do, yeah. So we're here. If you're not sure where we are, have a look on the map now. You'll see exactly where we are at South Pattaya Road. I won't go into too much detail. We'll cover that in the video now. But up here in Macallan Insurance, they cover a lot of different insurances, from health to motor vehicles to stuff like that. So what we're going to do today, we're going to talk about health insurance, correct?
Mainly, yes.
Mainly, right. So you said to me the other day there's been a few changes that are happening that you need people to be aware of. So what's been going on?
Well, the first one is that the OIC, our regulatory body, and we are actually regulated, has moved away from the traditional way of, well, really doing claims, or maybe not doing claims, but it used to be individually rated. So if you had a big claim, what they did was they increased your individual insurance.
Right.
It's moved more to community rated now. So if you have a claim, you as an individual will not have an increase unless there's been a lot of claims in your age bracket, in which case you will.
Oh, I got you. So before, if I had an insurance claim, it would be reflective just on my own individual policy. Yeah. Now they're not going to raise it. They say, well, let's have a look at the broad spectrum of the age group. And if I'm unlucky, I've had a claim, but you haven't, then we just keep it relatively the same. Is that what they're doing?
That's correct, yeah. Some companies already did it. Others did it the old-fashioned way. But now they've all been moved onto the same sort of platform for rating people.
Wow, that must be a massive step forward.
It has its advantages and disadvantages. I mean, if you have had no claims for 10 years and then suddenly you've got this big increase because half a dozen people have had heart attacks, you're going, what the heck's happening? Yeah. On the other hand, it has advantages for other people who have had heart attacks.
Well, yeah, because I think a lot of people, like myself included, one of the biggest fears that we have about insurance policies is that, you know, we all want to be fit and healthy, but the reality is that gradually as we get older, you know, things aren't as we were when we were 21. But for me, my personal thought was, yeah, but I get the insurance now, that's great, I'm fit and healthy, but if I have a claim, it's just going to go through the roof. And then they've got you then, because you can't cancel it, because then you're going to be left yourself vulnerable. Then you want to renew with you've got previous illnesses, etc. So it must be quite a minefield. But to have it where it might be leveled out. I get what you're saying about the fit and healthy guys, and sorry guys, but that's just the way it is. But for people that do get a claim, I think it's much more enjoyable to know that you're not going to have this big hit.
Enjoyable, maybe not the right word, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, I just think it's a good step. It's a good step.
So that's one of the things that have happened. The other thing that people may have heard of, but maybe not really understand, is what's known as the PDPA, which stands for Personal Data Protection Act. It means that without you actually signing to say we can get access to your medical records, nobody can.
Wow.
So if you're in hospital and the insurance company say we want to see your medical records, then we've got to get a signature to look at the medical records and see it's not a pre-existing condition. And it takes longer right now to go through this minefield of paperwork.
Yeah.
You can always refuse, but then the insurance company will refuse to pay the claim until they've seen your medical records, because they don't know you've not had a heart attack. They don't know that you've not had hernias. They don't know that you've had this, that, or the other. So the PDPA coming in has slowed down to a certain extent the process that was already tedious and slow. We at Macallan have tried to speed up the process by having now our own claims section, which is fine, and people really appreciate it because they're kept informed of every step, however slow it is. But we try and push it along as quick as we can.
So if that paperwork hasn't been completed, will they still treat you?
They'll still treat you, but the hospital will be asking for money of somebody, and it will be you if the insurance company hasn't already said, yes, we will cover it, and they won't cover it until they've seen the paperwork that they wish to see.
Right, I'm with you. So I want to paint a scenario now. Someone's been injured, they've been admitted to hospital because they've been in an accident or whatever, and what is the procedure if they're awake? Well, then obviously they can discuss with the hospital as to how they're going to be. But if they don't have the money, what happens? Do they just cart you back out and leave you in the road?
Let's go back a step. First of all, you said accident. Accidents will automatically be covered anyway because they're not pre-existing conditions.
Oh, right, okay.
But if someone had a heart attack, for example, and these are always easy ones to say heart attack because everyone knows what a heart attack is. If someone has a sudden heart attack, they will want to see the back hospital records to make sure 3 months ago you weren't diagnosed with a heart attack before you took out the policy, or high blood pressure, which is one of these nasty things that they tend to dig up.
Is it? See, I've had high blood pressure, and I've got it down now. It's pretty good. But in the past, I had really bad high blood pressure.
It will be on your hospital records, and they can't be changed.
Yeah, I know, but so like for someone like myself, having had high blood pressure, what kind of a problem is that regards getting health cover?
As long as it's only high blood pressure and you don't have a couple of other things like diabetes and a history of cancer, and as long as it's not a whole conglomeration of things, then they can certainly look at it and probably go ahead with it.
Yeah.
But you will have exclusions on your policy. The exclusions will be decided by a medical team at the insurance company, at the health insurance company. But what typically happens is that you get an exclusion for hypertension, which is high blood pressure.
Right.
That sounds bad, but we'll assume that you're taking medication for it.
Yeah.
And while you take medication for it, you should not suffer from hypertension.
Yeah, true. I take Dignified.
In the event of you actually, God forbid, having a heart attack, the doctor can probably say what caused the heart attack, whether it was hypertension or something else.
Yeah.
And if it was something else, then the insurance company would probably have to pay.
Well, that's good to know, because like some of the prices in these bars right now, the lady drinks, it gives me a heart attack. So
Yes.
So at least that'll be included in my reasons why I've had a heart attack. I mean, in general, talking about general insurance now, in terms of health cover, it is a big worry. When I speak to people, they always say to me, yeah, but, you know, you take out these policies and then they find the tiniest little reason possible to not pay out and not to assist you. I mean, you've been doing this now how many years? Like 30 years?
I've been 35 years.
35 years.
In Pattaya, 10 years before that in the UK.
So in terms of companies, and I know it's probably a difficult question, but what kind of companies do you think, you know, these are the ones that we can rely on, that we know are the best of the best here?
I don't wish to name names,
Okay.
actually.
Okay.
But having said that, we deal with companies that we think are reputable, and we do not deal... This was something I was going to bring up before. There's a lot of companies out there that are not registered or licensed to sell in Thailand.
Wow.
And they're coming in quite cheap because they haven't bought the license that you need to be able to sell in Thailand. So they're undercutting, but you have to phone them to get quotes and you have to phone them to get the policy. You're generally speaking to a broker in either Spain or the UK,
Yeah.
which is a long way away. And all they're interested in is selling the policy, and that's it. So if you have then a claim, you're in hospital. Sometimes the hospital don't even recognize the company, and sometimes they do recognize the company and say, well, we're not accepting your card. Whereas the companies that we at Macallan Insurance Broker deal with, we deal with the companies that are registered and licensed to sell here. We have the ombudsman to fall back on, we have our own claims team to help you. And generally we don't get many issues.
I know when we spoke last time, you'd like do 24-hour, 7 days a week backup and assistance. Mm-hmm. And you've had some interesting stories over the years where people have been in, let's say, compromising situations where they need your assistance, but you help them all the way through, don't you?
Yeah. Yes, we do. And especially this young lady here. And we've had some beautiful, beautiful letters from clients, and we've where they've been rejected and they come here and we say, well, let us try, and then suddenly they've got 400,000 baht in the bank account. Insurance companies, in their defence, are not charities.
Sure.
So they will look and see, do they have to pay that? On the other hand, some of the people who work for insurance companies are not as bright as they should be, and they look at a word and say, oh, that word's come up, we're not paying it, without going through it. A case in point was somebody who had cancer and was treated as an outpatient. And this is something I'm going to go back to again quite shortly. And he says, oh, you don't have outpatients on your policy, we're not paying it. However, somebody who is diagnosed with a cancer has to have it checked and has to have a certain test done that is done as an inpatient. And the person in the insurance office didn't realise it. But we did.
Yeah.
And we said, well, you have to pay for 90 days follow-up treatment because this is an inpatient procedure. And we got it paid after a fight. And because insurance companies don't like losing face. So we have to bide our time, write our emails. Sometimes 5, 10 emails go down. But if we think we're going to win, we will persevere. Whereas a person without a broker who is dealing direct with the insurer, and it's the same price, they're not saving any money by dealing direct. It's in the, perhaps, I'm going to say this in the politest way I can, that maybe the insurer can say, well, they're not going to fight this and maybe they don't know this, so maybe we won't pay it.
Yeah. That would worry me. Because, one thing is, it's one thing dealing with whatever's happened to you as an individual, be it, cancer, etc. But then to have to go through the process of trying to get your money back and trying to go through all I'm sure there's reams and reams of paper you've got to get through. That must be quite worrying for people.
Yeah. So come in here, we'll do it for you, or we'll take you through it step by step. And I'm not saying insurance companies do it deliberately. Insurance companies sometimes overlook things.
I think what's nice, though, is, in all fairness, a lot of insurance companies carry that flag, but it's nice to highlight places like yourself that go above and beyond that and provide the service that we don't necessarily, everyone always talks about, oh, well, I had this insurance and they didn't pay out. I had this, they didn't pay out. Very few people say, well, I had this insurance with Macallan and they did a brilliant job. Because for every one of the people you help, you'll hear 5 horror stories of people that are not associated to you that have had these problems.
Yep. And bad news sells newspapers or whatever.
Yeah.
So you see a lot of the companies that we deal with and people are saying bad things about them. But the companies that we deal with are generally, we're very happy with it and they settle their claims. And that's the bottom line as far as I'm concerned. People who aren't our customers.
Not your fault.
Yep.
Not your fault. So, question I want to ask you, please, Jay, is, people that come out on holiday, they've got these travel insurance. I mean, how reliable? I mean, is that a cause for concern? So I'm in England now. I'm coming out on holiday. You've got to give your holiday insurance. I mean, how reliable are these insurance policies in your experience? I'm not saying specific companies, but just in your experience.
We really don't get much feedback from people who come out here with travel insurances and go back again because they're not our customers.
Right.
I assume they're okay, otherwise they wouldn't be in business.
And expats living here?
Expats living here regarding travel insurance?
No, regarding their insurance, their personal health insurance. What is a given age that because like myself, when I came out here I was 42, I'm now 58, and when I came out here I was fit as a fiddle, didn't need insurance, didn't get it, didn't bother. Now I'm getting to the age where at 50 I'm thinking, hang on, no spring chicken anymore. I mean, in terms of my delaying the process or not paying an insurance premium, how will that affect me as an individual?
It depends how we fill in your application form.
Right.
Everything goes off the application form that you fill in.
Yeah.
And if they need to look at your back hospital records, they'll do it. But as long as you're below 64 or below, you don't need a full medical. As soon as you reach that magic age of 65, you do need a full medical. Okay. The important things to look out for with whatever company you choose is what age are they going to kick you out. The companies that we tend to sell will kick you out when you're 100. They will insure you when you're 99.
At that age, I won't care.
But there are companies that will kick you out when you're 65, 70, 75.
Really?
Depending on the companies that you choose. And this isn't necessarily highlighted.
Wow, I didn't know that. So 65, 70 years, some of the companies say, that's some of them now.
Yeah, some of the companies aren't interested in, or you're getting older.
I never even gave that a second thought.
Having said that, the price does go up because, once again, we're back to the age bands. When you're in the 81 to 85 or 86 to 90 age band, there are big increases. And we've had people having 100% increase with a certain certain companies. Other companies are more reasonable, so we're trying to move them towards the more reasonable companies. And while we're on that subject, the price of kiddies insurance has gone up dramatically because of the amount of claims.
Is it?
If you had a 4-year-old kid or a 2-year-old kid and they're screaming, the natural reaction is to take them to hospital.
Yeah.
The natural reaction of the hospital is to say, we're not sure what's wrong. Maybe we should keep them in under observation.
Oh, so true.
And the price is going up for all kids.
And the problem as well is, like, one of the things I've experienced, and I don't mean this in any way, shape, or form disrespectful to Thai people, but they seem to be a bit more dramatic. Oh, my baby's crying, let's go to the hospital. You're like, no, just, let the baby settle down, or, our child's down. Don't go to the hospital. And like you said, and like my family back in Korat, they're in and out of the hospitals every week. And I'm like, stop going. You don't need to go to the hospital because you've got a runny nose. You don't need to go to the hospital because you've got a cough. Just let nature take its process. Go and see the local doctor. Stop going to the hospital. And exactly what you said. Oh, we just need to keep them overnight just to monitor them just in case.
Yep.
And then you're getting a like 15, 20 grand bill.
Yep. Which the insurance get. I've got a memo the other day. We're putting up all prices for children by 40%.
Wow.
1st of June, 40, not 4.
And the trouble is, like, as well, and this is something else to bear in mind, if you are considering insurance and you are thinking to yourself, well, the costs involved, if you're new to this country, if you haven't been to Thailand that many times, or you're just new to here and you haven't been experiencing the hospital, one thing that Jack and I will guarantee you is when you walk through some of these hospitals, you are talking serious money, like way, way more than your premium. And like Jack mentioned earlier, you have to have a means to pay. If you don't have a means to pay, you're in a world of trouble. You're in a world of, to the point, if some of the hospitals you can't pay, they ship you down to the local Sirachar, isn't it?
Well, there's Sirachar, there's the one in Banglamung.
Yeah.
There's the one on 3rd Road. Some are nicer than others.
Yeah.
But
some provide a cover while they wheel you out on the stretcher.
Yeah, leave you on the gurney, but they provide a service for the locals. You really don't want to get involved in that.
Yeah. Right, so we're near the end. Anything else you'd like to highlight before we finish our video today? It's been really interesting, and I appreciate you sharing this with us. But is there any other things that we need to be aware of for people that are considering coming in and getting their insurance?
Yeah, it would make life a lot easier if you had, especially if you're coming from abroad, a copy of your back hospital records.
Okay.
Because if you say, I had a back problem 20 years ago, it may not mean anything, but to the insurance to say, right, no back problems, because they will always take the worst possible view just in case it is. But if we can actually identify what the individual problem is, because we've got your back hospital records, whether they're from abroad or from here, we can say, okay, it's just this bit that we're doing.
Okay, and if I'm coming here from, say, England, and I don't have this back record, is that obtainable? Is it easily obtainable?
It's obtainable, but it takes a long, long time, and it should be attainable, but they're really not the greatest people at doing it.
Right. Okay.
The other thing is, when you start talking with a doctor, the doctor, whether you like it or not, writes down everything that you say. Now, without telling any lies, you have to be careful what you say to the doctor, because we had a case in Point where a gentleman had his legs swelled up about 3 years ago, and then they went back to normal and they thought nothing of it, and he never went to hospital over it. It could have been also a doctor. It could have been he got bit by a mosquito or any one of a number of things. But then he got deep vein thrombosis. But he said to the doctor, 3 years ago, my legs swelled up. If you read Google, it says if your legs swell up, you should go and see a doctor anyway.
Yeah.
But at least you'd know what the cause was. And straight away they said, oh, you had this 3 years ago. We are not going to cover it because your legs swelled up 3 years ago. There was no reason for him to say it, but he was being honest, and maybe applaud him for that. But it's probably going to cost him a fair bit of money in the future. If you have a hospital record of it, you do need to admit it. And you do need to say, if it's just something minor like that, it would possibly be best to stay stung.
Right, gotcha. Well, there you go, guys. You've heard it straight from our expert here. So it's been a pleasure talking to you, Jack. Thank you so much indeed.
Trevor, thank you very much.
Guys, what I'm going to say to you, I'll put all the links to Macallan Insurance down below. If you are in the position where you're thinking about medical insurance, and not just medical insurance, other insurance services as well, which we offer here, which sadly we don't have enough time to go through right now, but get in touch with Jack and his team. They're very professional. Been here, like I said, 35 years, have an extremely good reputation here. I know many people that have come here off the back of the videos, have come back to me and said, Trev, brilliant, really happy with the service, everything's good. So guys, if you are interested, please get in touch with Jack and his team and get yourself taken care of. All right, there we are. That's it from me today. Thank you very much for watching. As always, please remember, hit the subscribe button and also the bell icon if you'd like to be notified when I bring out a new video. If you haven't, check out kick.com/Buzzing unfiltered, uncensored videos. It's a great channel. We're doing lots of fun and laughter and games on there. And if you watch it and you have got a dodgy heart, maybe you need to get the heart insurance first with Jack before you come and watch what we do on Kick. But have a look at that, guys. Likewise, Instagram and TikTok. Instagram's all about daytime stuff here. TikTok's all about the nightlife. And if you haven't, get into Discord. There's over 22,000 members in Discord. It's totally free of charge. It's a great platform to get access to information, etc., about what's going on right here, right now, as well as ask questions. So have a look at that. And if you'd like to support the channel, please become a member here on YouTube. And if you do become a member, send me through a screenshot of your membership, and we'll in turn give you access to our members area only. All right, there we are. That's it from me. That's it from Jack. Thank you very much for watching, guys. And please, as always, wherever you're in the world, stay safe.